Hello and welcome to this Pact Publishing course. My name is Atindra Chaturvedi and I will be your guide through this course. I am a VMware Certified Advanced Professional in Data Center Administration and also a VMware Certified Advanced Professional in Data Center Design, and because of my interest and background in networking, I also hold the VCP 6 for network virtualization and for cloud computing in the VMware environment. My background is in networking, and so I hold a Cisco Certified Network Professional certification in data center, as well as a Cisco Certified Network Professional in routing and switching. So I understand how the data center equipment interacts very intimately with the virtualization environment that is provided by vSphere. So let's talk about the course content. So in terms of the audience for this course, this is an advanced course, and the expectation is that the folks that are doing this course have at least a vSphere foundations level of knowledge or equivalent experience. So we are not going to be talking about basic VMware concepts such as the VMFS or the hypervisor type 1s and so on. So even basic installation of an ESXi hypervisor is assumed. A second important point to understand is that vSphere 6.5 is a minor or a dot release upgrade, but it is still version 6.x. So when vSphere was released, it was version 6.0. There were some updates. Came up to vSphere 6.0 update 2, and then vSphere 6.5 was released in late October of 2016. But it does not mean that vSphere 6.5 changes everything in vSphere 6. There are advanced capabilities and new capabilities that have been added to vSphere 6.5. There have been some under the cover changes, especially in storage, that have been made. There is a new VMFS version 6 file system as an example, and there has been a lot of tuning that has been done as well. But it doesn't mean that if you're running a vSphere 6.5 environment that any knowledge of vSphere 6.0 is wasted. And the reason for it is very simple. After all, this is still vSphere version 6. So in this course, we will cover the vSphere 6.5 major changes that are specific only to vSphere 6.5. So we are going to cover upgrades from vSphere version 6.0 to vSphere 6.5. We will cover the advanced ways of doing that. We also will be covering the vCenter server appliance version 6.5 that has some excellent capabilities, including new ones that have been integrated into it, such as the update manager. We will cover that in great detail. Also, we will look at the vCenter server appliance version 6.5's capability of being fault tolerant, or the right word actually is high availability, because now there's a way of which is integral to the vCenter server appliance where high availability for the environment is provided, which is very different from before. So again, there are extensive labs for this. I also include material that is common to vSphere 6.0 through vSphere 6.5, simply because, as I've said before, just because there is vSphere 6.5 doesn't mean that everything has changed or that anything that was valid for 6.0 is not valid. In fact, vSphere 6.5, being a minor or dot release upgrade, basically builds on the major changes that came in version 6 that were initially released in version 6.0. Now a word about the actual topics in this course. So this course is focused on practical data center requirements. What that means is this. Based on my experience in working in the data center, both on the networking side as well as on the virtualization side, as well as in managing data centers, I realized that there are certain aspects that are not really covered very well in the training that is normally provided. So for example, backup and recovery and restore of vSphere deployments is a very, very important subject. It is not very flashy, but it requires an attention to detail. And when things go bad, it is the only way to be able to come back online as fast as is humanly possible, only if one has paid attention to it ahead of time. So as an example, the section on backup and recovery of vSphere deployments is very extensive, and I've covered ground using labs that is very rarely covered, if ever. So because of this focus on practical data center requirements, this course is essentially lab-based. So 90% of this course content is lab-based. In fact, the most PowerPoints that you'll probably see in any given section is in this introductory video. So having said that 90+% of course content is lab-based and that practical data center focused topics have been selected, I have, as I explained earlier, provided a detailed exploration of key data center operations topics, and we are going to use version 6.5 and the compatible version 6.0 content, because after all this is version 6.x, and although version 6.5 is covered, as we said before, version 6.5, while it adds on new capabilities, it doesn't mean that the previous capabilities are not there, and even that has to be covered, especially from a viewpoint of the practicality of using this material in a real live operational data center. In this section, I will introduce you to the course content. So let's take a look at the course outline. This course has 11 self-contained sections, which means that as we are assuming you have experience working in a vSphere environment, you should be able to go into any one of those sections in which you have an interest in and get a very deep exposure to the topics that are contained within it. So while we do have an introduction to vSphere 6.5 and vSphere 6.5 CLI in section 1, we will then be covering the advanced features of vSphere 6 networking. We look at how to work with vSphere 6 virtual machines. We will cover some advanced storage aspects in vSphere 6, such as the NFS 4.1. We will then look at backup and recovery of vSphere 6 deployments. In great detail, we will cover the vSphere replication appliance as well as the vSphere data protection appliance. We will look at the advanced vSphere 6 security in great detail, as well as some of the new aspects that are there as part of the vSphere 6 deployment, including the platform services controller. We will then move on to how to manage and administer vSphere 6 resources. We will go into the availability solutions that have been released with the new vSphere 6.5, including your update manager integrations, as well as the SMP fault tolerance. And of course, since the course is very extensively lab based, we're going to cover the actual high availability features that are now available with the vCenter Server appliance version 6.5. We will look at deploying and consolidating a vSphere 6.5 data center, all the aspects of that, and of course how to upgrade your deployment to vSphere 6.5 environment. We will then end the course with section 11, which is troubleshooting vSphere 6.x, and in there I cover some topics around advanced networking, as well as some other aspects of vSphere, again, which are not conventionally covered in courses. But as this course is a very practical course, I have found it extremely useful in actual data center deployments to be familiar with these troubleshooting tools. So with that covered, we will then move on to the next video, which is Introduction to vSphere 6.5. I look forward to seeing you there.